So there's kind of some rules that you should follow when you're answering part 1 for the speaking section. And these are just things to help you get a better score. And one of the things that you want to do is make sure that you talk enough. So you want to make sure that you're talking enough so that the examiner knows that you have a good command of the English language. So I recommend that you speak for at least 5 sentences. 5 sentences is not like a rule. It's just kind of my rule of thumb, about 5 sentences. If you say 3 really long sentences, that works too. You just want to talk enough. No one-word answers. Don't do that. You also want to make sure that you're using 2 to 3 idioms or phrases or phrasal verbs. That way you kind of get those in. And then you want to make sure you have good vocabulary as well. You don't just want to keep doing a bunch of little baby words. You don't want to keep repeating the same words. And on that note, you want to make sure that you have sentence variety. Every sentence shouldn't be super short. Every sentence shouldn't be super long. And you don't want to keep using the same words to start a sentence. You don't want to keep saying, I like, I want. Mix it up. Have some sentence variety. Okay, now we're going to get into the question. So just to recap, the question is, what do you usually do on the weekends? And here's my answer. I like to spend the weekends hanging out with my friends and family. I like to go to the park with my kids or with my family. Since we don't have work or school, it's a great opportunity for us to hang out together. My friends and I love to spend the weekend going to restaurants and just hanging out and spending time together. It's great for us to catch up on each other's lives. Even though I spend most of my weekends with my friends, if I can, I do like to set aside a little bit of time for myself. I will often go to the library and get a new book, or just spend some time reading outside and enjoying the sun. Alright, so there's my answer. Let's break it down a little bit. This is one of those questions where it feels very appropriate to start it with I like. I like to do this, I like to do that. You can also say, I really love the weekends. The weekend is my favorite part of the week. You can start it off in that way as well. But I like actually makes a lot of sense here. And if you're going to say that you like the weekends, you're going to want to say why. We're always saying why. Do you notice that? I keep telling you, say why you like something. So you're going to say why you like the weekends. I like it because I get to hang out with my friends and my family. And then I'm going to tell you what do we do. So it's easy if you can say, I like this because of this, and then this is the activity. So this is who I spend the weekend with, and these are the things that we do. And if you can pick 2 or 3 specific things that you do, it's going to make it easier for you to answer the question. You're going to have things to say, and you'll be able to think a little bit quicker on your feet as you're in the exam, all nervous and worrying about what you're going to say. Yes, I like this. I'm going to say why, and then you're going to say, this is what I like to do. And the more real it is, the better. You can lie. That's totally fine. But, you can lie and say, say something that you like to do when you're on vacation instead of just the weekend. But if it's something that resonates with you, something that feels true to you, that's just going to be easier, so you can just kind of pull it out of your head. So you can start your sentences with things like every weekend or most weekends, and that's just a good way to get in some sentence variety. So that's why you see that there in the structure. Even though is a phrase that I use, and it's just a contradictory phrase. So even though I love the weekends, or even though I'm doing this, I also like to do this. And it's really just there for vocabulary purposes. You can do things like however, moreover, therefore. All of those kinds of nice little transition words work really well in this question, really in any question, but this is just kind of how you can fit them in there and use them, and it's great for vocabulary. All right, so I just want to point out some of the vocabulary that I use in this question. So the first word I want to point out is since, and so it's just a nice way of explaining yourself. So instead of saying because blah, 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 I'm going to say since. So because works, but if you say because all the time, sometimes since will work too, and that's just a way to kind of mix up your sentences. Hanging out is another one. That's a really popular one for all of these questions, and it just means that you're spending time with someone it is usually almost always a good thing unless you say, I hate hanging out with you, or I don't like hanging out with you. But if you just say hanging out by itself in part of a sentence, then it's going to be a positive thing. I get to hang out with my friends. I get to hang out with my family. I get to hang out with you guys. So it's usually just, a positive thing that you're saying. Catch up is another phrase that you hear. And in this case, it just means that you hear about what someone has been doing since you saw them last. So maybe I saw you last weekend. So you're going to tell me what you were doing between this weekend and last weekend. So we're catching up. You're telling me about the things that you were doing in between that time. And then enjoying the sun. This isn't really like an idiom because it actually means you're enjoying the sun. So just sitting outside enjoying something. And you can say enjoying the weather. That's a phrase that's definitely commonly used. Taking advantage of the weather means the same thing. You're just like, it's a beautiful day and you're just enjoying that. And you can say you're enjoying anything. Enjoying reading, enjoying catching up with friends. You can really enjoy anything. All right, so that is it for this question. If you like this video and you want more, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so that you know when new videos are coming out. There will be more of these. You should also check out my videos about conversations. I will put the link in the description below to that playlist. And those are just basically on just a natural conversation that two Americans would have. I go through vocabulary and phrases for that as well. So it's a great way for you to get more vocabulary and get more phrases. And it's just also a nice way for you to just learn how to naturally kind of speak English in general. And of course, it's going to help you for this exam because it is a speaking exam. All right, so that is it, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.